Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Andy Lefkowitz.
We have such a good guest today. Tony winner, Gabriel Ebert from Time and the Conways.
Woohoo!
Thank you. A little applause. He's not going to applaud
on.
for himself. He's very humble.
Tony winner.
But first, we have some news, Andy.
We sure do.
What's the news? What's the buzz?
All right. So some pretty big news that just broke.
Late breaking.
Yeah, seriously. So Roundabout Theater Company is going to do a one-night benefit concert of Damn Yankees.
Which we all love.
Ready for this cast? James Earl Jones is going to play Mr. Welch. Whoopi Goldberg is going to play Applegate in a gender-bending turn. And Maggie Gyllenhaal is going to play Lola. So incredible.
Look at that. I love it. That's amazing. So when is this?
Be December 11th at 7:30 p.m. at the Stephen Sondheim Theater.
And Kathleen Marshall's directing.
Yes, three-time Tony winner.
So you know you're in good hands. That's fantastic. Okay, well, Springsteen opened on Broadway last night.
Yes.
In case you didn't know, Bruce Springsteen, there's only one. This was a star-studded event. Yeah. There were a lot of fancy people in leather pants last night. Tom Hanks was there, Laura Linney. Have some photos on the site. Steven Spielberg. The heavy hitters came out. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So what else is going on?
Yeah,
some bad news.
So some sad news.
Yes.
Warpaint, which had announced it was going to close on December 30th, has announced that it is now going to close on November 5th. And the reason is because the show's star, Patti LuPone, has to undergo hip replacement surgery. So the show has to close earlier, which is kind of a bummer.
What a trooper that Patty's been doing this while she's in pain.
She's such a trooper. She really is.
And she's so good.
Yeah, so
well, we're going to
go
miss
to the
Warpaint.
Nederlander and see Warpaint. It's fantastic.
So, in case you didn't know, today is Friday the 13th, which is lucky or unlucky depending on what movie you're seeing. And so we are asking you in our Culturalist Challenge, which horror film should come to the Broadway? That's hard to decide.
It is
I don't
hard.
like scary things, but you know,
Yeah.
if it's going to be scary, it should be on Broadway. And speaking of scary things, you have some news.
Speaking of scary things, the upcoming stage adaptation of The Exorcist, which is debuting in the West End, has cast Ian McKellen as the voice of the demon. So that, I mean, it's going to be incredible. We also have a trailer for The Exorcist on the site in that same story. So
imagine if they had
out.
cast Whoopi Goldberg in that role.
That would
just
be,
another idea.
Yeah, it's another
in case
idea.
they decide to go a
Hey.
different way. I don't know. Yeah, so when does that start, by the way?
So that starts in October. Actually, it is...
You don't know when it starts.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? It looks like it looks like the dates are not accurate here, but it's running in 2018 at the Phoenix Theater in the West End.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So coming up, since we're talking about the West End, Crystal Clark, who is the star of 2 Star Wars movies, up and coming young 24-year-old American actress, is appearing in A Man of No Importance in the West End with Eve Best, and we have a Q&A with her, and she's really sweet and really fun. So there you go. That's the news.
Yes.
Quick and dirty on a Friday.
Indeed.
We will be right back with Gabriel Ebert from Time and the Conways.
Thanks.
What's up, everybody? My name is Matt Roden, here for Broadway.com at the opening night of Time and the Conways on the Broadway. And tonight I will not be asking anyone real questions because we are playing a game that I like to call, What Time Is It? I'm going to name a time and a place.
Okay.
And then I'm going to name another place.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me what time it is in that place. So it's a time zone game.
Oh my God.
Now
this
here's
is the kind of thing that I terrible.
6:15 p.m. in New York City. What time is it in Auckland, New Zealand?
2:15 the day after.
3:45.
Noon.
If London is that way and it's 7 hours ahead,
600 hours.
So it'd be +6. So that would be like 20. No.
So much math.
12:15 a.m. in Auckland, New Zealand.
You're an hour off.
Yeah, baby, that's
10:45 a.m. in Chicago.
Wait, 10:45 a.m. in Chicago.
All right, so we're there.
So we're at brunch.
Okay, so we're at brunch.
We're at brunch in Chicago.
What time is it in Dubai?
Matt.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're by the pool.
I see the math like happening in your head.
Dubai is over there.
I like that it's all directional based.
6:23.
They're like 20 hours ahead, right? They gotta be like,
Yeah.
they gotta be like 12 plus 8, 6 plus 8. Come on, man.
4:45 p.m. in Dubai.
8
12 p.m., which is interesting.
Never been to Dubai. I don't even know.
Any
what
interest in
time.
going?
To
Dubai?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd go to Dubai.
If you get this next one right, you get a free trip to Dubai.
Oh,
Here we
God,
go.
come on.
2 p.m. in Cairo,
Yeah.
Egypt.
Yes.
What time is it in Portland, Oregon?
Well, okay, so Portland is 2 time zones from Chicago. So, and I was 1 hour off before, although I don't know if Dubai, who the hell knows?
Cocktail time.
Time is but a dream.
Time is but a dream.
9:14.
4 a.m.
1 hour off, 5 a.m.
Magic time.
Have you experienced 2 p.m. in Cairo?
I haven't. Have you?
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? Pass. Here's the deal. I've watched so many of these kinds of shows with you, and it's always cute wordplay, finishing lyrics, Beyonce stuff. It's like, I gotta get mathematician.
1:30 a.m. in Milan. We're out.
Yeah, we're partying.
You know?
Everyone's very
Yeah,
beautiful.
everybody's gorgeous. We're fashion.
Fashion.
What time is it in Boise, Idaho? You know where that is?
I have no idea.
That's what I thought.
1.
Lunchtime. Time to get drunk at a party. Hey!
Noon 30.
7:45 a.m.
Somehow we added 15 minutes.
6:30 p.m.
1 hour, 5:30.
Oh, 6:30 a.m.
You're 1 hour off. See, as soon as he stops trying.
Okay, Milan. We're chic. We're fashion. We're in
Fashion,
Milan.
fashion,
1:30
Milan.
you said.
Yeah.
So 1:30. Okay, we're in Milan.
What time is it in Boise, Idaho?
We're not going to Boise.
4 a.m. in London. What time is it in Phoenix, Arizona?
5:42.
4:01. Party o'clock.
Big Ben just told us.
You know what I
it's 4
mean?
a.m.
He's like, it's 4 a.m.
bong bong
Bong, 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 bong.
bong.
Probably only 4 bongs.
4 in London. We're at high tea. We're having some high tea.
9 p.m.
You're 1 hour off.
Damn!
7 p.m.
An hour off. I mean,
Don't do this to me. I can't do it. I can't do it. If I had, it was like 8. It's like
it rhymes.
like-
It rhymes with.
10 hours difference.
It rhymes with schmate p.m.
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens, and I'm here with Tony winner Gabriel Ebert, who is now starring in Time in the Conways at the Roundabout Theater Company. Welcome, Gabe.
Thanks for having me.
It's good
nice
to
be,
see
yeah,
you.
It's nice to be here. Appreciate
It's
it.
nice to hear your voice, which is not British.
It's true. It's true.
But you play yet another Brit.
I play many Brits. I don't know why. It's the hats, probably.
It's
I'll
the hat.
Just take this
You
off,
wear your
actually.
hat.
There you go. Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, no, I get confused for not being an American. And I'll take the British work, you know. It's nice if I can get it. But, but yeah, I'm just a boy from Colorado, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're really from the middle of the country,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
your British accent is impeccable.
Well, thank you very much. I
and you are
appreciate it.
working with actual Brits this time.
It's true, it's true. And I have a lot in the past as well. I was actually thinking when you were talking about The Exorcist is being directed by this great guy called Sean Matthias, who I
Yes,
just
of
worked with,
course.
a Welshman, but lived in London for a long time.
Good thing that you made that distinction.
Yeah, of course. They've got a very different sound in Wales.
They do.
Yeah, but I love it. I grew up watching a lot of Monty Python, and
That's where you got it from?
I think so. I think so. I mean,
so
I had some
you took
training
the
as well,
accent, but not so much the silly walks then.
I can do the silly walks. Did you see Matilda? No, I'm kidding.
You did,
But
that's
yeah, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of serious British stuff, but if they let me clown around, I'd be all about it. I mean, I got to
know.
stretch, but I got some silly walks in me.
So let's talk about Time in the Conways.
Okay.
Are you enjoying it? It's such a wonderful production.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's an incredible company of actors, and working with Rebecca was a real treat.
Rebecca Teichman,
yeah,
the
Rebecca
director.
Teichman, sorry.
Now
the
a Tony
director.
winner as well.
Tony Award winner Rebecca Teichman. And some incredible actors in the company, and as I was telling you in the commercial break, this is my 4th Roundabout
Yeah,
play.
you're a Roundabout regular.
I'm a Roundabout reg, and so
So,
I have a lot of love for the company, and it's great to be. I've never played the American Airlines. I've gotten to play Studio 54 twice, and I've gotten to play the Underground, but I've never gotten to play the American Airlines. So it's nice to be on that stage, and I've seen a lot of great work on
42nd
that
Street,
stage.
baby.
Yeah, you know, right in the heart of it, and it's a complex and deep play. I was really fascinated by my character, which is why I really wanted to take on the challenge of playing this role. And in the process of rehearsing it, you know, it was difficult because he stands silent for so much of the play. He's very
Yes.
present, but
You
he doesn't
almost think
say
he's
that much.
Like a waiter or something
I
at the
know,
beginning.
and they
He's-
treat him like one a little
That's
bit. His
true.
family does make him go fetch a lot of things.
You know in the audience that he's the nice guy, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think by the time you finally do get to hear what he has to say, you're so grateful to just see someone being kind to someone else that I maybe even get more credit than I deserve.
Well, actually, I think that for people who don't know the play, Time in the Conways jumps in time 19 years, so you're really getting a perception of this family from, like a long view.
Absolutely.
But your character, Alan Conway, really talks about time in a philosophical way.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that seems to be fascinating playwrights and audiences lately with plays like Constellations and A Parallelogram at Second Stage, where people are talking about what's the Faulkner quote, that the past is never dead, it's not even past. You know that? So that's sort of what Alan Conway's all about.
Absolutely,
Is that true?
yeah. And I think Priestley, Priestley, it's crazy, these playwrights are writing it now. Priestley wrote this in 1937, and he was fascinated by the concept of time even then. And I think he was ahead of his time in writing this play. He was inspired by the writings of a philosopher called J.W. Dunn, who produced this book in the mid-30s called An Experiment with Time, sort of positing that time exists on a continuum. We happen to be in this place, but it doesn't mean that the whole thing isn't taking place all at once. And I think in this modern world, we're very fast-paced, Facebook Live, come on, let's go. And I feel like we're a very fast-paced culture, and we're under the impression that we're running out of time. We got a lot we need to accomplish, And what Dunn was positing that inspired Priestley, and he puts that in the mouth of his character Alan Conway, which I get to say, is that our whole lives are existing simultaneously. We just happen to be in this point. And if you take a long view, you don't operate from a position of pressure and panic, because you are able to see that it's all happening, and it's not about ambition or accomplishment as much as it is about patience and endurance. And I think
your character
yeah,
too.
it's welcome to hear that for the audience, I think.
It is deep. There are things to dig into. I've got to ask you questions about other things. And there are people asking questions.
Are there people
which
asking?
We will get to you.
Is that what happens on that
That is what
tablet?
happens. The people, they
Hi,
ask you the
people.
questions. But I want to ask you about a couple of other projects that you've done. Well,
Okay.
first of all, we have to talk about Matilda for a second.
Okay.
Because you're Mr. Wormwood. You won a Tony. I was just thinking about your Tony speech because it was so generous and so sweet, but the microphone was like 2 feet lower than your mouth.
It's true.
So you were doing it kind of in a squat position.
Yes.
Am I remembering this correctly?
That's very true, yeah. It was just instinct at the time. I mean, during Matilda also, all of my co-stars were 2 feet tall because they were 10 years old.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Leslie Margarita. I was going to get very
Oh,
upset.
no, certainly. I was standing on her shoulders for my whole performance.
There you
certainly.
go. There you go.
She's a gem and an incredible performer in her own right.
But yes, you had a lot of kids.
But I had a lot of kids, so I was in a crouching zone. I'd done a lot of crouching. I did a lot of crouching in my performance, and I guess it made me feel good because there was no way that they planned for me to win the Tony, because they would have raised the mic a little bit. So that was comforting.
It's not fixed.
I don't think so.
At least not that year.
Not that one.
And I also wanted to talk to you about Casa Valentina.
Oh, yeah.
Which you did. That's Harvey Fierstein's play, and then you worked with him again more recently. And
Great man.
But it's being, I believe I read that it's being turned into an HBO series. Does this interest you? Would you
it intrigues me. I haven't heard this news. I remember when we were doing the play, HBO was intrigued in turning it into a miniseries, and I think there's a lot of incredible material in there and potential. I haven't heard that. I hope I can get an audition.
Yeah.
Get my people on this.
Well, I think
Let's
you
see
might know
what's going
someone
on.
attached to that project.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're going to ask some questions from the people.
Okay.
The people.
Hello, the people.
The people have a lot of questions.
That's cool.
Loved Brief Encounter, says Bradley, and would love to see it come back. Your favorite memory of that show?
I loved Brief Encounter too, Bradley. My favorite memory of that show.
Your first roundabout experience.
That was my first roundabout experience. That was where I learned how to play the ukulele.
I thought you were born playing the ukulele. Isn't everyone in
been.
Colorado born playing the ukulele?
I auditioned with the guitar, and they said, "Can you play the bass and the ukulele?" And I said, "Yeah," because of course I wanted to do the gig. And then we had like 7 days of rehearsal, and I figured out how to play it. My happiest memory, I think, is just playing with the company. Every day before the show, the entire cast would get on the stage, and we would play silly games, and we would warm up together. And I think it's one of the most truly ensemble, heartwarming experiences that I've gotten to have in my career. And I had just graduated from school a couple years before, which was a very lovey-dovey, ensemble-based place as well. So it was an early point in my career for something so perfect. And I don't know if I was as grateful then as I am now, or as aware of how special it was then as I am now. But that was truly, truly one of the greats.
Jeffrey is asking, when you did Red, so you were an understudy in Red for
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne, he's
Yeah.
asking if you ever went on.
I did get to go on, yeah, and I was actually very lucky that when I got the job of understudying Red, Eddie had 4 dates that he was going to go to his brother's wedding in Scotland, and so I actually got to invite my family and my teachers, and they all got to
So it was
come
an
and see me. I got
expected
4
time.
I got a whole weekend, yeah, an expected time. I never went on besides that weekend. But Eddie was incredibly gracious, and when he left for his trip, he left me champagne and flowers in my dressing room.
Oh, that's very
and
sweet. Like
Alfred
your own little
Molina.
opening night.
Yeah, and it was my Broadway debut, you know, and
Yeah.
they took such good care of me, and it was such an astonishing role in an incredible play. So yeah,
Your Broadway
that was,
debut, and you were on stage the whole time.
Yeah, 2-man play, pretty good.
That's amazing. Alec is asking if you have any dream roles. Now, I did see once, I asked you this once, or someone at Broadway.com did, and you said
Okay.
that you wanted inappropriately to do the hairy ape.
Oh yeah, and now it's been done. And you know who played it in London was Bertie Carvel from Matilda, which is crazy. And then Bobby Cannavale played it
I mean,
here,
all
which
you
I
really
saw.
need to do is like pump up. I think you're ready.
That's all I need to do.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
I did answer. I remember that. I love that play.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to know your current dream role.
Current dream roles, my goodness. I haven't gotten to swing at any Shakespeare since I left school, and there's a couple roles I'd like to play in Shakespeare, but there's a lot of Shakespeare that's done. I mean, a dream role. Wow. I wish I had a off-the-cuff answer that was good. I don't know. We were talking about horror
Oh,
films
yes,
that
that's
could be
right.
made into Broadway shows, and I think playing Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas would be a pretty good role to play.
You're terrifying me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Elliot is asking, how old were you when you started acting, and what made you want to start acting?
I've been on the stage as long as I can remember. I was in choir as a kid, and I sang a lot. And then from there, I got to do some operas. And I think when I was doing the operas, I got a taste for the stage and having little solos, and I liked having my solos. My brother also did a couple community theater productions, and when I saw him do it,
What was
like,
he in?
like a good younger brother, I wanted to beat him at his game.
This is a common reason to want to act.
What was he in? He did Dracula. I mean, he was about 10, you know. They did like a children's production of Dracula, which I remember. I remember his starring role was as a blind cowboy. He was great. I can't remember the name of the play.
I don't remember any blind cowboys in Dracula, but
No,
I haven't
different
seen
play.
it in a while. Oh,
different
okay.
play.
Okay. Just saying.
That would be very interesting, though, a little amalgam of the two. But I grew up singing on stage, and my dad's a minister, so I grew up singing in the church with him, and I just sort of feel like I've always been on stage, and then it transitioned into theater.
Wait, I read this too. Tell me about your choir outfit.
Which one?
I heard they were colorful.
We had a tricolor outfit, which was a tricolor polo, and our colors were pink, purple, and green.
That's beautiful.
And then, depending on whether you sang in the higher section of the choir, I had a very high voice, so I was in the high section. We would wear the green shorts, or some would wear the purple shorts, some would wear the pink shorts.
It was preparing you for your Matilda role.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it was
Absolutely.
doing.
Maybe my Casa Valentina role.
Maybe that too. Oh goodness, everyone is asking about Leslie Margarita. Tell
They
us
want to
about-
know. The
they
people
wanna-
want to
They
know.
want to know about the Queen. Tell
The
us
Queen?
about your audience with the Queen.
You must bow to her. You must
I've heard that.
pay homage. I have been lucky enough to see her show, her solo show that she does, which is astonishing. Backstage, she's incredibly active on social media. So backstage, she's like playing games and setting up shots. Her dressing room was immaculate. You know, it was not
like a TV
unlike this.
studio.
It was not unlike this actually, but with more
Wigs,
zebra print
more wig-
and
more zebra.
wigs and
you're not on social
rhinestones.
media.
And I'm not on social media. She and I were a great sort of yin and yang, where she's way up here and I'm down here in some realms, and then in this realm and way over here and I'm way over here in other realms. But
Opposites attract.
Opposites attract. And I think we both kept each other honest in our performances and pushed each other to be crazier and funnier and louder and bigger. And I got to come back and see her work in Matilda, which she did so many performances of that show, and she kept up the energy and the quality and the integrity of it. And you know, I came back and saw it just before it closed, and the fact that she was still there holding it down and pulling the company along to play at that same high level, I have such admiration and respect. Yeah, I hope I get a chance to do something with her again.
Oh yeah, what would you like to do?
I don't know. I got to get my singing voice back out. I do all these serious British plays, you know. It would have to be. I would love to do like a nice raucous comedy with her of some
yeah,
sort.
that
I
would
don't
be
know
great.
what it would be.
Was it emotional for you to go back and see Matilda?
Yeah, I wept. I just
Did you?
sobbed. I just sobbed the whole time. Yeah, it was very emotional. In a way, I hadn't even gone back to the Schubert in like 2.5 years.
Or the Shubes?
Or the Shubes, as it
If you
as
know,
it has been
if
called.
you know Gabe.
It's true. I hadn't been in the Shubes in a long time. And so to walk back in was intense. You know, I knew the ushers and
The staff.
the staff, the people at the door. Of course, it was all different kids, but
But when they sing "When I Grow Up," I mean,
when I
forget
grow
it.
up, yeah.
Wipes
And
you
also
out.
just watching it from the outside and thinking that I had been there, it felt like it was 1,000 years ago, and it also felt like yesterday. It was a very surreal experience. I've never created a role like that I got to go back and see someone else play. And so I had so many emotions I didn't even know what to do with it. And I wanted to go backstage afterwards too, but I also just had to sit in the auditorium for a few minutes after the play
Get
was
it
over. and
together,
Get it
Ebert.
together, I know.
God.
Poor weeping Ebert.
Oh, Elisa's asking what it was like working with Keira Knightley in Therese Raquin. And did I
Wow.
say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much.
A very rare treat. I get a lot of Therese Raquin and all sorts of strange pronunciations. She was a doll. She was a total gem, incredibly professional, incredibly kind. She had like a 2-month-old infant daughter.
Wow.
And
this is a demanding role.
And this is a demanding and depressing role.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone was prepared for how depressing that play was going to be and what the toll of playing it 8 times a week was going to be. And unfortunately, on our very first performance, we sort of famously had this heckler there who yelled a lot of really unfortunate things and threw flowers onto the stage. And Keira and I really bonded in that moment because it was just the two of us on the stage, and I feel like I stood up for her, and I stood up to that man in order to protect her. And so I think I got her respect.
And look
hopefully
what
as
she
an
did
actor.
to you in the
and
play,
and
though.
she still killed me 8 times a week, you know?
Just
a
saying.
different outcome
That-
once. But she was
That's not gratitude, people.
yeah, she was very sweet. I think in retrospect, it would have been nice to do a nice drawing room comedy or something. We would have had a better time.
It is a tough show.
It was cool having a swim every day on Broadway, certainly. We
Yes.
all enjoyed that.
That was
And
an
when we
incredible
closed, we all
set.
had to swim together, and that
Did
was
you
great.
really?
Yeah.
You all jumped in the river.
Yeah.
That was a great set. Beowulf.
Great
Court.
set. Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty talented, that guy.
Yeah, you work with
He's
the
all
best.
right.
You only work with the best. Ella is asking, if you could choose a different career, what would you choose? Like, if this whole thing doesn't work out, this stage thing, what would you be doing?
I mean, I'd have to go back in time because I think if I could choose a different career that would be fulfilling to me, I would love to be like a serious tennis player. That would be a
Oh.
dream of mine. I love tennis, and I competed a lot as a kid. You know, at a certain point, I sort of chose.
You love the shorts.
I love the shorts. I just want another chance to wear those pink shorts.
It's all about that. It's all about
It's
that.
all about-
We're
I
gonna
enjoy the snicker in the corner there. So I would love to be an athlete, you know. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm so stretchy and athletic in the roles I choose.
Stretchy? Did you say stretchy?
I said stretchy.
Okay, I'm just making sure I heard you. Oh my goodness. What is the funniest memory you ever had with Matilda? They're all Matilda fans, you know.
They're Matilda fans, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm a
Yeah.
Matilda fan, too. Funniest Matilda memory? My goodness. I'm sure they all involve Leslie Margarita.
Oh, well, that's true. But there are also a lot of kids there,
There's
so.
a lot of kids there, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Funniest memory? Oh, my gosh. It's interesting, these questions you'd think you'd have an immediate
Yeah, come on.
response to.
Come on,
Yeah,
get
come
together.
on.
It's like you've never been interviewed before. No, I'm just kidding. Let me ask you another
I'll get
question
back
while
to
you're
you.
thinking
I'll
about
get back to
I'm
you.
thinking about the memory.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay,
Do you keep in touch with Mary Louise Wilson?
I do.
You do?
I certainly do.
So you did 4,000 Miles with
Did
her.
4,000 Miles
which
with
is
her.
a beautiful play.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I got to just go see Amy Herzog's new play, Mary Jane. I don't know if you've gotten to see
Yes,
that.
at New York Theatre Workshop.
Really
Carrie Coon.
serious. Carrie Coon.
She's a
really
wonderful
devastating.
playwright, Amy.
Yeah, and the whole cast is just incredible. All the women in that play are doing incredible work. And
So what do you and Mary Louise do together?
I,
Play tennis?
that would be great. She's still got a killer backhand.
I believe it. I would believe it.
In her 80s, yeah, she's got it. She loves her garden, and she mostly lives upstate now and doesn't really come into the city. So I'm overdue for a trip upstate. We normally meet every year at the Lincoln Center board dinner, which we both get invited to because we're Lincoln Center alum. And so we have dinner there together and hang out a little bit. I've been up to her house a couple times where I help in the garden and do some of the sort of tougher jobs. You know, she's always trying to keep the deer and the rabbits out, so I'll put up a fence
She
for
puts you to
her,
work.
something like that. Yeah, put me to work, which I appreciate. You know, I feel at home in a garden. I am, after all, a Colorado boy.
That's true.
But also, we just talk about the career. I call her when I've got a conundrum, or when I think, you know, is this a role that's a good idea to take, or is this someone you've worked with before?
She
What do you have to
mentors
say?
you.
Yeah, she does
That's
a bit.
amazing.
And I feel like I've been blessed to work with some great older actors who have a lot of great experience, and to lean on them in different times. And they come and see my work and give me an honest opinion about it. And I have a great relationship with her. Also, a great actor called Brian Murray, who's a dear friend of
Oh,
mine,
yes,
and I
of
have a great
course.
relationship with. And Lynn Cohen, people
Mhm.
of this nature who keep me honest, hopefully.
And speaking of people who keep everyone honest, are you going to go see Torch Song?
Oh, yes. Are you kidding me?
I would think that you would. So
Yeah.
You're very close to Harvey.
Yeah, I
Firestein.
can't wait. Harvey's a dear friend, and I actually hadn't read Torch Song until we were about to start working
That's
together.
the thing. It's like for a new generation.
I know. For a new generation. I missed that era, so I got to read it in its entirety, and of course now he's done some rewrites to take it from the trilogy down to
That's
one
correct,
play, and I have great admiration for Michael Urie as well, who's a friend, and so I'm really excited to see it. And luckily they do Sunday nights, so I'm
I see. Oh, that makes it
I'm
easy for
gonna
you.
make it out for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in, Gabe.
It is
so
my
good to
pleasure.
see you.
Thanks for having me, and thank all of you for supporting this show.
Ladies and gentlemen, go see Time and the Conways at the American Airlines Theater. It is an amazing night at the theater.
Thank you very much. It's very sweet.
Have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.